Welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, CDT. You can refer to me as Miss T. As y'all see the thumbnail, how this bunch and others aided in the decline of boxing as a sport with their lies and their deceit and their cheating ways. Misleading the public, putting on fights that we don't want, and charging people, or shall I say, overcharging people for fights that's not worth it. And how all of that is bringing about the decline in boxing. We're going to get into that and much more. But y'all know the drill. First, let's turn to Welcome back to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, T to T. You can refer to me as Miss T. And y'all know what we do at the top of my hour is water check. Here at Boxing Fans Talk TV, we advocate that everyone, and I mean everyone within the sound of my voice and beyond, to drink their proper amount of water per day. Because we know that leads to a healthy and fit life. Now, I will say that any campaign you go on to try to increase or elevate your health, or even get fit or anything, you're trying to cure something, you're trying to recuperate from something, if you're not doing it with water, you're wasting your time. And you don't want to do that. We know also that a lot of people don't like to drink water. So we say at least twice a day you should drink your water. That's first thing in the morning. Have 8 ounces of water on your nightstand. Learn to drink your water at room temperature. I like mine personally ice cold. So I do things like buy an ice machine that I put in my room and a water cooler that has 3 settings, hot, cold, and cool. And I have a mini fridge. Everything but the stove. I ain't gonna go that far. I'm not gonna go that far. But I like my water ice cold. And if I'm eating some, I want to put it in the fridge, I can put it in there for a later time or date. But we say drink your water first thing in the morning because your body is like an engine. And it needs water to move everything in a timely and efficient manner. And that's how you got to treat your body. We also say drink at night when you get out the shower. Even the American Heart Association agrees. And you know, if they agree, you need to jump on that. Before you lay down for the night and close your eyes for the night in that deep sleep, you need to drink 8 ounces of water. Everybody don't go to bed right after they get out the shower, unless you had a long day and you're really, really tired. But most people look at a program or read an article in a magazine or read a passage in a book or something. But it's that time that you drink your water, because a lot of going on in the middle of the night in a deep sleep. Stuff you don't even feel. A lot of hard work. A lot of reads going on. Rebooting, recreating, redirecting, revamping. I can go on and on and on. You need your water to help all of that move in a timely and efficient manner. And besides, only in a deep sleep, not a cat nap. The average human burns between 900 to 1,000 calories at night in a deep sleep. That's why you need your sleep as well. So we say drink your water, water, water. Go for 100 ounces per day. Elite athletes drink at least a gallon a day. But whoa. There is a such thing as too much water. So you don't want to get caught up in that. So if one day you drink 85 ounces of water or 90 ounces, don't give up. That's a good day. After all, tomorrow is another day. And if you didn't drink enough for that day, you just keep trying. As long as your eyes are open, sip on some water. If you have an absorption problem with your water, and you'll know it because you'll have other illnesses or disorders or diseases or whatever, put some Celtic salt on your tongue when you're drinking your water. Not a lot. I ain't telling you eat a teaspoon of salt or nothing, just a couple of grams on your tongue. It helps your body absorb the water like it should be. If you have an absorption problem. If you don't have an absorption problem, don't worry about that step. But water check. We should not be dehydrated in 2024 going forward. None of that got that out the way. Let's get to some light housekeeping. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe. If you've already subscribed, don't touch that dial. We got you. You locked in. And do leave a comment, question, or statement at the end of the replay. I get back with you. Or another way you can reach me is at boxingfanstalk@gmail.com. That's boxingfanstalk@gmail.com. I get back with you. I chop it up with you, whether you agree with me or not. I come on Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Unless it's nothing to talk about, I'm not going to blow smoke up your astrobula. If it ain't nothing to talk about, we ain't got a show. And y'all know my hands are full planning a wedding and moving out of the state. So sometimes I just can't get to you guys. So I like to keep it transparent and on the up and up. And I already told you guys that my tay-to-tay with YouTube and monetization, they like stealing my views. I don't know. It's almost 2 years now that they've been doing this. So the only way for me to monetize is through my Cash App, Boxing Fans Talk TV. That's Boxing Fans Talk TV. Hit me up, and I thank you in advance because all proceeds go right back into the channel. I'll be giving y'all some good intel too. And stay tuned to the end of my monologue because I'm going to give you guys a credit tip. It's very simple. All of us should know it. But sometimes we don't know it. When you know better, you do better. Let me give a shout out to ATL Unanimous Boxing Sports. What's poppin', King? He said, Queen T, what happening? Shouted. What happening? I'm trying to say how you spell it. General Big Fish, what's up, King? He said, yo, Boss C, what up? What's up with you? So y'all seen the thumbnail, right? I said how this bunch and others aided in declining of boxing as a sport. And they doing it with lies, deceit, and cheating. They're not being held accountable. Nobody's making them responsible. But we all play a part in it. I'm going to be talking about the part that the fighters themselves, they got the biggest part in it because it's their career. So the onus is always on them. But the empty suits, whether it's the promoters, the sanctioning bodies, or the commentators, the YouTube commentators like me and a whole lot of other people, as well as the commentators on official channels and networks. All of us play a part. And least of all of them is the boxing fans. We play a part too. So I'm just going to quickly go over why I think boxing is declining. And I hope it bounced back. A lot of people might say, Miss T, it ain't gone nowhere. But if you look at the landscape, a lot of fans, a lot of boxing fans be butthurt from the decisions that are made and the things that's going on. But y'all saw the thumbnail. What do all of those fighters have in common? I call them the boxing bunch. Yes, indeed, I call them the boxing bunch. I got a little jingle, like to hear it. Here it go. Let me see if I can do it on beat. I probably can't. When this boxer met his promoter, and they knew that it was much more than a hunch. This is true. The summary of these boxers, that's the way they all became the boxing bunch. The boxing bunch. The boxing bunch. That's the way they became the boxing bunch. Listen, I was trying to do that Brady Bunch type thing, but yeah, they the boxing bunch. Some of these fighters that I put on the thumbnail, they are definitely part of the problem in boxing today. But there are others. I can't forget your boy Earl Spence, aka the Nutcracker. I can't forget him. I can't forget Jamal Charlo. I can't forget even some of these trainers like Derek James. I can't forget Pacquiao. And you wouldn't believe who I'm adding to this list, Floyd Mayweather. Because he doing a lot too. He doing too much. Big Fish said, that girl can sing, laugh out loud. Oh, no, I can't. I used to. But that surgery on my throat, that X'd all that out. My daughter can. Because I could. Jason Wim is in the building. What's poppin', King? He said, what's good, Miss T? Click on and hear you singing all off key. Yeah, I did that like that on purpose. I can't control my voice anymore. And it don't matter. I won't never try to be Whitney Houston or nothing. But I used to have a little voice. I ain't gonna lie. But surgery ended my career. Anyway, all those fighters that I had on the thumbnail, they are partially to blame why boxing is on a decline. And it's supposed to be a prominent professional sport. And might I add, one of the oldest sports or professional sports in our country today. But the fans, like I said, have some responsibilities too. How? Because we don't ensure or pressure the people in the power to do the right thing. We don't get on their ass and stay on their ass. We don't do that. And that's the one job that we can do. Dan Tan is in the building. He said, Miss T, salute. What's poppin', King? Al Moolah is in the building. What's poppin', King? But mostly, it's the promoters these days, as well as sanctioning bodies that just be mucking up the whole system. They just be throwing monkey wrenches and everything. And we just have to sit up there and take it. But we don't have to take it. See, the best way to get at rich people is to hit them in their pockets. Now, me personally, I'm not a fan of stealing, but I'm also a person who loves shit for the free. Now, I ain't gonna say I don't, but I'm not into all that stealing the fights and all this crap and all that. Do I benefit from people for doing it? Yeah, but that is not the approach that I want to take or really press for it. This whole month had a lot of boxing going on, and I didn't see everything. I didn't see a lot of fights. Either I couldn't see them or what. I'm not paying for no pay-per-view that ain't worth it. I put my foot down on stuff like that nowadays. But because that's why I feel that boxing is declining. It's an untrustworthy entity that, see, you know, like with football, you can set your watch to it. Ain't no such thing as this team catching favor over the next. Same thing with basketball, hockey, baseball. You can set your watch to that shit. You can't with boxing. And they act like it's a physical impossibility, and it's not. Dan Ted said, I'm just here to hear you sing. Oh, Lord. Luther Vandross, watch out. Al Moolah said, Miss T, what's popping? Quentin Bradley, my brother, what's popping, King? Al Moolah to ATL, General Big Fish, Dan Tan, what's up, fellas? Al is talking to y'all. Quentin Bradley, what's up? ATL talking to y'all. What's up, fam? Jason Williams said, facts. Free 99 is my favorite price. General Big Fish said, Al Money 231. What up, broski? Dan Tan, ATL, what it do? So yeah, the fans can make shit happen. We can really make shit happen. But the problem is, you go to your corner, I go to my corner, and we only try to be all up in arms when it's our favorite fighter. And some of the shit that's going on, we should be appalled no matter who the fighter is. They could be a D fighter, C fighter, B fighter. It don't matter. Because what you do for one, you can do for all. Now, it's crazy to me because we, as Americans, but just plain those citizens and humans on this earth, we live life like that. How many of y'all fellas be like, if you see a girl run through a lot of dudes, you look at her, even though she telling you you're the greatest, baby, I love you so much, me love you long time. Even though she's saying all that, you know she ain't exclusive to you. What do you say? Well, shit, if you did all of them like that, you would probably do me like that. I'ma just be one of many. And I don't want to be one of many. Or maybe I don't care about being one of many, but I will never take you seriously. You don't get no credibility over here. So taking you for granted, running through you, treating you like dirt, that's on the table. How many of you guys say that? But when it comes to our favorite sports, it's mum's the word. You should be in outrage no matter who the boxer is. He can be Joe Umpty Squat, a no-name. His first 2 or 3 fights. If they dogging him out in such a way that's not fair and legit, we should get in uproar about it. And be like, okay, PBC, or okay, Top Rank, or okay, Golden Boy, or okay, Matchroom. If you're going to do fighters like that, we're going to stop buying your product. That's how you dead and shit. You got to hit people where they hear you the most, and that's in their pockets. So let's get started with the first contestant up to bat, which is none other than Ryan Garcia. According to some, a fight between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney was in the mix of being negotiated. That was until Floyd Mayweather, TBE himself, befriended Ryan, so to speak, one fateful 2 a.m. run and threw a monkey wrench into the whole negotiation to spite Oscar De La Hoya on purpose. Now, this is the tea that I'm hearing. And it's coming from a pure D Devin Haney fan. Now, a non-Devin Haney fan might see it different, but most people are Devin Haney fans. He has a lot of fans amongst real boxing fans. Like, I can say real, but hardcore boxing fans. Devin Haney has a lot of fans. Problem is, he don't have a lot of casuals. Devin Haney wants that name because he wants that recognition. He wants that big money fight. There's things he just can't do. And Ryan is a means to an end. And Floyd mucked all that up on a midnight run. So people are mad at Floyd now. These were ex-fans of Floyd. More than likely Earl-sexuals. Fans of PBC. But they love Devin Haney. Love him, love him, love him. They're probably impressed with Bill Haney and the mouthpiece he has. You know, Bill is somewhat sort of like a pimp, the way he be talking all the time. He gets the people ear. But Ryan knows that Devin needs him. Ryan don't need Devin though. That's the catch. Devin Haney, in my opinion, is about to go through a whole lot of unnecessary BS, just like Terrence Crawford did. And I'm sitting back here calm, cool, collective, because I don't even care. I seen it once. I'm now desensitized to all that approach. Not because I don't like Devin Haney. It's because I've seen it for the last 5 years with Terrence Crawford. So now I'm supposed to really get up in arms when it's happening to Devin. I was mad when it was happening to Terrence. I was mad when it was happening to people before Terrence. But none of my being angry or mad meant the hill of beans to anybody in the powers that be structure of boxing. They did what they did, and they did it with a smile, and they did it for 5 years straight. People avoided Terrence. Terrence couldn't show us how great he was in his 20s. Imagine boxing since you was 5 and 8 years old, and now you're in your 20s, and hell, you might make it to your mid-20s, and you want to show the world how great you are. You want your glory when you're young, and you can go off and do all kinds of mischievous shit and get into shit and have fun before you get old and settled. But because people want to play politics and games, you don't get the chance to do that. That's Terrence Crawford's story. It's about to be Devin Haney's story. I see that loud and clear. That fight between Ryan and Devin Haney would have made money. It would have definitely been a moneymaker, considering the characters of Ryan Garcia. He's very popular. He has a big social media following, 10 million plus people. Devin Haney wanted all that, even though it has been proven that Ryan Garcia's social media don't mean a hill of beans when it comes to actual ticket sales and all that stuff. General Big Fish said, "Here we go again," in my Dak voice. So Floyd was supposed to orchestrate or put together a deal with Ryan and young Romero. So Ryan get on his perch, start talking shit, cop and spit and talk shit. Andrew Charles was in the building. Was Poppy King? He started talking crap, only to find out that you're not getting the Rolly Romero fight. Now, when I was talking to a Devin Haney fan today, personally, I know this person, he was saying Floyd played Ryan. But I don't see it that way. You got to take people as you see them. You got to take them as you are. Before the Tank fight, what was Ryan? The Black Picasso, famously said Ryan Garcia. Ryan was all hyped by Golden Boy. That he was spoon-fed, just like Devin has been. And they always try to point to the fact that he has a big social media following. Never in the history of boxingdom did we used to care about somebody's social media following. I know social media is relatively a new thing, wasn't around during Ray Leonard's time or Sugar Ray Robinson's time, but it's been around long enough. Ryan ain't the first boxer to get on social media or something. This social media just didn't happen when Ryan became a boxer. Social media was around before Ryan. We even knew who Ryan was. But Ryan, call it by the way he looked, his character, he's a young guy. He's just in tune with that social media. He know what it takes to get the algorithms popping. But as I said, everybody can agree that his social media didn't necessarily equate to ticket sales and pay-per-view. But he was named the Four Horsemen, even though this man has never won a championship. Never. He the Four Horsemen, but he didn't fight the top guys that we know will kick his ass. We just feel we know. You don't know till you know, but we feel we know. He was ducking, and it was apparently clear to everybody when he was at 135. He was ducking a lot of people. They was putting him in fights that only he could win. He has had a problem with Oscar De La Hoya for years. One of his biggest gripes is the pay that he was getting. And then Canelo, when he used to work with Canelo, co-signed the thing. Yeah, Oscar doing you wrong. Throwing fuel on the fire. But yet, he was a millionaire several times over before he ever had a relevant fight. And that fight was with Tank Davis. Was it last year? Ryan was worth $10 million last year. And you know whatever Google say you worth, you better add 10 or 15 more to that. According to Google, Ryan was worth $10 million last year. He didn't have a commercial, big social media. He gets a check probably from YouTube or whatever social media platform he's on. He don't necessarily need boxing. Ryan used boxing as a way to beef up his status just in his personal life, in my opinion. Can't prove it, but in my opinion, he was much more like a local celebrity. It probably gave him the confidence, like Liquid Courage do people, to walk up on a girl and spit game. You know who I am, baby? Girl, I'm Ryan Garcia. I'm a boxer. I beats everybody down. I have an undefeated record. You might want to roll with a nigga. I can see him now. 3 babies later, and he in his mid-20s. I ain't knocking you, young Ryan. Tank right behind you. And some more people right behind you. But I think he used boxing as a way to beat his chest. Captain Caveman Abunga. That's how I saw Ryan. A lot of people was using Tank's name for clout. Kind of like how T.O. used Terrence Crawford's name for clout these days. If I mention Tank and talk shit about him, like I could just piece his ass up and beat him down, you know, that would get the interest spark and people gonna definitely tune in to my show. He was never a pay-per-view star, but he was popular. On the West Coast, Ryan could sell some considerable numbers or considerable tickets when he went to fight. Tank could sell out anywhere he went. You match them two together, you definitely making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches For sure, for sure. One of the best sandwich ever made. Tank and Ryan Garcia was peanut butter and jelly. If I never saw it. And they proved it by having 1.2 million pay-per-view buys. That's better than Earl. That's better than Terrence. That's better than the Charlos. I can go on and on and on who that's better than. And lately, that was better than Canelo. Because without Triple G, Canelo wasn't breaking a million. So the hot ticket item for last year was Ryan and Tank. But you saw Ryan be brave in there. But the fight didn't last long enough. But it won't from him not trying. So you got to give him kudos for that. But it's people like him that help in the decline of boxing, because you're putting the cart before the horse. You're propping him up and making him like a hype job, and you're trying to get everybody interested in him because you don't have a stable yourself, Oscar De La Hoya. And you confusing boxing fans and potential boxing fans. The whole point about any kind of sport is to attract casuals. Get people interested more than the people who normally gonna be there. That's the whole point. And they successfully did that with Ryan Garcia, is all I'm saying. So Haney, a person who is in a deficit of all that shit and all them good things I said about Ryan, of course he want to fight Ryan. Because one, he know he can beat him. That's how he feels. I'm not saying that's a fact. I'm saying that's how he feels. And it's a big name. And it might just justify all the millions that he make when he do fight. Because I don't see where that shit come from. And I'm not a Devin Haney hater or nothing. But I'm like trying to understand how people who really do put on shows get paid way less than him. But, hey, we're going to get into Devin Haney in a minute. Let's move to the next fighter. Like I said, I can see why Ryan would bite at the chance or opportunity that Mayweather was probably pumping in his ear and pillow talking him to death on their 2 a.m. run in the middle of the night. So Ryan scraps the potential fight with Haney, favoring Rolly instead. That pissed a lot of people off. They pissed his fans off. That pissed regular boxing fans off. This is why you say, man, fuck boxing. Now let's move on to Haney. No, not Haney. Who I got next? Let me see. I said now Haney fans are, like I said, they butthurt. And the reason why Haney got a problem and he picks Ryan is because Ryan can draw casuals. The pay-per-view potentially can be high because Devin don't get no pay-per-views, like talking about it. And not enough people see him as the powerful dude that he want to be. You know, they see him as just an excellent boxer, like somewhat like a Richardson. And like I said, they always put the cart before the horse with Devin. And he is not popular. He does get paid very well considering his peers struggle with trying to get paid somewhat even in the wheelhouse of what he get paid. And that is because everyone see him as a copycat and a silver spoon. Once he had took that email champion, that paper champion, that paper belt or whatever, once Devin did that, it's hard to climb out of that deficit. It's hard to take people seriously. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the problem that Devin have. ATS said, Queen T, I don't. If it's me or what, but I can barely hear you over your music. Okay, I'll turn the music down, y'all. I'm right up on the microphone, but it might be me. So is that better? It might be your cheap ass device. I'm just joking. Okay, moving on. Did anyone forget how Ryan rode before the Tank fight, like how he was. I just want to do that temperature check. He only cared about money. He never was a champion. He was spoon fed. He was a ducker, but he got paid. So y'all remember that. I just want to make sure y'all know that one. Now he got the biggest payday of his career, according to him, 30 plus million, without ever accomplishing anything. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? And you think that this man cares about anything else but money? He's probably one of the most popular boxers with the social media following, like I said, 10 million plus. And like Devin, they put the cart before the horse with him too. Y'all see what I mean? This shit hurts boxing. It don't help it. ATL said, might be the pine cones. General Big Fish said, yeah, it's better. I hope y'all heard everything I said about Ryan. I ain't gonna repeat it. So let's move on to Boots. We already know the deal here. Bernie the Boxer asked two things. He said, referred to the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast when Bud confronted him and he was at a loss for words in his humming state. You know what I'm saying? And then he also asked why he got out of the line to fight Crawford with the WBO and go get in line to fight Spence, the IBF route. And why when they, meaning Boots' team, was contacted by Crawford's team to fight before they made the announcement with Avanesian, did they turn that down too? See, once they directed Crawford's team to Steven Espinoza, who is not a promoter, that's a turn down. Getting out of line with the WBO when you know you could have got the fight. Because if you look at the history, let's just keep it factual. We ain't got to get in feelings. If you look at the history, Bud has fought all his mandatories. Boots was in a position to be a mandatory. All he had to do is petition. He petitioned the IBF 3 times for Spence. He petitioned the IBF to get the belt off of Crawford. So we know they know how to petition. That's the first, if you want to call it duck, I call it a duck. But that's the first turn down of a potential matchup with Crawford. And then when Crawford's team contacted him, and Bozy said everything eloquently, we're loyal to Showtime because they give us business, they give us fights, and I get that, but you're not legally binding to them. And he said as much. He said, and get this, and peep this. He thought he was dropping a gem, but he actually put his foot in his mouth when he said, and get this, and get this. We don't even have a contract with Showtime. That's how loyal we are to Steven Espinoza. Now, I gotta disagree with my brother Blue Blood on this, and I usually don't call people out by name, but Blue, I was baffled when you said, and Showtime is no more, and out of nowhere, Showtime got out of the business of boxing. Blue Blood, that was not out of nowhere. Everybody know it. General Big Fish, all of us and Quentin, we done had on Black Picasso channel and what's his name? The other, I can't even think his name. I ain't even calling the names. Don't come to me in a minute. Oh boy, channel. We have all argued for over a year. We've been arguing since 2022, I believe. I've even had arguments with people last year talking about PBC put on the best fights, so Showtime ain't going nowhere. And I be like, you idiot. Paramount Plus made their decision based on the year before numbers, and they made their decision regardless of what PBC did the next year. You can't cancel nobody and just be like, you know what, Showtime, we done with you, so tomorrow you just cut the channel off, you out of business. It don't work like that. Contracts got to be ran out and everything. The Mac Mob, I couldn't think of his name, the Mac Mob. We had arguments way back in 2022. about the fact that PBC is pretty much going to be a man with no land, as Earl Spence said, because Showtime going out of business. Paramount owns Showtime and they own CBS. And they said it plainly in so many articles. Showtime, my brother, you're through. We pulling the plug. So it's not out of nowhere, Blue Blood. Jerron Ennis and them knew all along. They trying to do what's right. I don't doubt that they trying to do what's right for Jerron, but they just a day late and a dollar short. You know what I'm saying? They don't always hit the mark when they making decisions. That was clearly a duck. Now, do I profess that Jerron Ennis is scared of Terrence Crawford? I never said that, and I never think that. But you did turn down an opportunity to fight when we know that opportunities come far and in between. You know, they are not, they're rare occasions. You got to strike while the metal is hot. So why wouldn't you strike? You're not legally bound to Showtime or Steven. You wasn't going to get sued if you didn't get a fight, and you would have got a nice check. But you chose not to. By pawning the decision off to somebody else, they didn't ask Steven. Terrence didn't want to fight Steven. He wanted to fight you. And then you come out and you're misleading. This is where the rub happens. You're misleading the public. Hey, if you want your belt back, come fight me. He already showed he was undisputed for welterweight. I want to fight Terrence. Where he at? Wait, nigga, you ain't never really wanted to fight Terrence. If you did, you would have stayed in the WBO line. You let PBC and their followers and Earl Spence and his teams and his followers tell you that the WBO belt won't shit when it's an actual bona fide, verified, sanctioned body belt. And you need it to become undisputed. So I remember the talks ran there. Oh, the WBO ain't shit. They ain't nothing. The real belts is the WBA, WBC, and IBF. Really? That's what Boost and them was listening. He was following the crowd instead of being a leader. And he fucked himself. But now he want to mislead the fans as if we dumb. And no, that makes people sick of boxing. That aids to the decline as well. General Big Fish said, please don't skip Bud. Bud ain't do nothing. Look what loyalty got you. Showtime wasn't loyal to boxing. Exactly. Because they was making ill decisions. See, Paramount don't care about the show that you put on. They just care about the viewership and the numbers you bring in. They in a business. You know how y'all say, it's a business, Miss T. It's a business, guys. Jason Wynn said, when the opportunity knocks, you better answer indubitably every time. Bernie the boxer also gave him hints on how you get a fight with Bud, but he didn't pick up on it. Bud said it himself on that same podcast, $1 million worth of game. Hey, if you touch my pride, y'all know what that means. But I don't talk like that. Hickaboos, I don't talk like that. That's not how we get there. Well, you better learn. You in the hurt business. You being passive aggressive in your approach to fighting Bud. And he can't respect that, and nor should he. You don't bring nothing to the table. Who did you beat to become champion? Let's see. Nobody. You got an email. That's why Devin still go through the problems he go through. That was one thing they pinged on him forever. That's why Devin took it upon himself to go there and then get that belt. And by the way, Lomachenko and Kambosos is fighting in May for the IBF that, one of the belts that Devin, dropped. One, how did Kambosos get a crack at it again? Two, why they fighting in Australia? But since Kambosos and Lomachenko got beat by Devin, I think Lomachenko won that fight. But on paper, Devin was the victor I guess they letting them two hash it out over his scraps. But that's crazy. I wouldn't be going to Australia. You have to bring that shit up here. Um, Jason said Bernie told him straight up, try me, talk some shit, make me want to come whip that ass. Indeed. Boots ain't done it yet. When his fights is like I said, passive aggressive. I'll fight Crawford. I'll fight any nigga. But your actions show what you wanted was to be the first to crack that ceiling when it came to Earl Spence. Because I don't know how Earl fans could not see he was not a superior boxer. I don't know how they couldn't see it. Maybe his stature, the way he's very nicely shaped. He looked like he mean business. He is a dog in that motherfucker, and he can hit hard. That's all I can say. But a superior boxer, no, he's not. And Boots saw that, and that's why Boots wanted at him. But Boots know you better bring your lunch when you fucking with Terrence Crawford. He knew that. That's why he got out of line with WBO to go over and get in the line with the IBF for Earl Spence. When if you look at the facts, Earl Spence ain't for the IBF mandatory in like 4 to 5 years since Ocampo, since like 2018 or something. So suffice to say, can we truthfully say Earl Spence don't fight his mandatories? Somebody said on Bernie's show, oh, that's not true. He fought his mandatory Sean Porter. I'm sorry, try again. Sean Porter fought Danny Garcia and became WBC champ. And if you notice, you can pull up anybody's name and go look at the rankings. Champions do not get ranked in other sanctioning bodies. I used to always wonder, why isn't Earl ranked high in the WBO? Why isn't Terrence ranked high in the other 3 belts? Because once you make champion, you don't get put in the rankings of these other sanctioning bodies. That's just how it is. So when he fought Sean Porter and won the WBC, how was Sean Porter his mandatory? Again, you guys making people sick of boxing with your stupidity and idiocy and your straight up lies. This helps decline the sport. Somebody can say that and not be checked. That's crazy. Jason said Boots didn't want to step. He'd rather get a belt via email. Indeed, a paper champion. And tell he gonna have to move out that 147 because the 147 division is kind of dead now. He don't offer nothing to Bud to take him seriously. General Big Fish said at Jason Williams, Showtime wasn't loyal to boxing. How many years did Showtime put on great fights for the fans? Good things don't last forever. Was HBO loyal to boxing? Was BLK Prime? BLK Prime got ran out of the business on purpose. They got ran out of business. And Showtime, Steven Espinoza, not the creativity of Showtime, but Steven Espinoza did a disservice to that position he held. With his workings with PBC, they did a disservice. They put on fights that nobody wanted to see. They marinated too long. And they put on pay-per-view fights that wasn't worth it. And that led to a decline. They won't hit no shit as far as Paramount Plus is concerned. And I see ATL said super cap. I don't know what you're saying I'm capping for, but I'll let you up in a minute. Y'all know how I do. At General Big Fish, nope. That's why I ain't loyal to any of them. Just put on great fights. I don't care what network it's on. And then ATL said, it ain't over yet, man down. If he don't change his skills, it's man down for him when he fighting certain fighters. But that's pretty much what it is with Boots. We don't have to go too in depth because the writing is on the wall. Boots Ennis petitioned the IBF in September. Bud Crawford announced like the 3rd week of October that he was fighting David Avanesian. And if you don't believe me, according to Bozy, they offered him the fight beforehand. And Bozy instead of taking the fight, turned it over to Steven. Ain't that much loyalty in the world. Whatever you want to say. Why would you scarf at the opportunity to at least become a champion? That puts your foot in the door. If you don't fight, bud, you ain't a champion. Earl was in no danger of fighting you. You were beneath him. You were behind him. He wasn't going to fight you. Mandatory or not, he wasn't going to fight you. And he proved that. Because he hasn't fought you. And he don't plan on fighting you. But you had a real opportunity to fight a champion. Whether you think the WBO was a nothing belt or not, it was a real belt. And Bernie say the same thing I say. Next time y'all interviewing Bruce Ennis and somebody stick a microphone in his face, ask him the questions. Don't let him beat around the bush. Get the lies out of boxing. We ain't got to lie. Nobody looks at Boots and think he's a scaredy cat. He wouldn't be in boxing if he was. He's an excellent fighter. He's not scared of Bud. He's not scared of Earl. But he's worried too much about keeping his own. He know what he dealing with when he picks certain fighters. I think he rathered Earl Spence because he felt like, and I ain't saying it's true, because we didn't see them fight, but I think he felt Earl Spence was easier to beat than Bud. I think that's what he felt. Whether that's true or not, that's what, in his mind, he thought, in my opinion. Now we got Canelo Alvarez, and y'all know how I feel about Canelo. I don't hate him, but he's a cheater. Once a cheater, always a cheater. That's how I look at you. I don't have to talk about it every day and keep harping on it. Fury is a worse cheater than Canelo is to me. Like, what don't that nigga cheat in? I mean, shit. If it was written in the contract that somebody's supposed to speak first and Fury speaks second, he'll cheat in that. The nigga always looking for leverage, and he gets it. And he gets away with it. But Canelo Alvarez is a great fighter. But like I said, cheater. And I really can't trust him. Small part of me just really won't never trust him. I dub the in Canelo Alvarez the most strategic cherry picker of the bunch. All the pictures I showed y'all of the bunch, he is the most strategic cherry picking mofo I've ever seen. He make that shit look legit. But he's a cherry picker nonetheless. He only fights that he's going to win. He fights for the money and he fights for the win. But he only really fight for the win. If you think about it, he's supposed to be easily able to beat Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford coming from 135. Canelo was never that small. From the waist up, Canelo is a beast. But he know he ain't got the leg and the foot movement like Terrence. Why are you scared to fight a 135 pounder, a 140 pounder, a 147 pounder, a soon to be 154 pounder? Why are you scared to fight them, Canelo? That's to be easy pickings, but you don't do it. You rather give us a possible fight between you and Jaime Munguia. Who the fuck care about Jaime Munguia? I mean, real talk, who cares? Other than his promoters and his mom. Nobody cares. Once he was dubbed the face of boxing and shown that they will lie and cheat for him, integrity went out the window. No one, meaning boxing fans, campaign hard enough to hold him accountable. We just didn't. We tried, but we didn't. They just threw more money at him. And this part is not his fault. And I stand by this. But he got the complexion for the protection, and y'all know it. He is really their great white height. In a Mexican package. But he's the great white height because that's what he look like. They go by what he look like. General Big Fish said, I'm the fire stick alpha and omega. The alpha and the omega. I'm doing my part, Boss T. Fuck boxing as a whole, including the fighters. Fighters don't support our boxing channels. Oh Lord, Big Fish. He said Saul Roy Alvarez. The steroid dude. That what you trying to say? But yeah, they throw money at him, and he complies with it. Y'all see that nigga always getting drunk? He ain't living a boxing lifestyle, but he the face of boxing. Why? Cause he fought Triple G. Ain't that what y'all saying about Tank? Tank and Ryan broke $1 million. They the face of boxing now. The conclusions of it all, the analytical facts or conclusions that they come up with, it's crazy. It all aids in the decline of boxing. Now let's get to the piece de la resistance. Keith Thurman, in all his double talk. See, I'm a Keith Thurman fan. When he was a shit, he was a shit, and nobody can deny that shit. When he was calling out Floyd, and Floyd was like, later for you, because you beneath me, you behind me. I'm not going backwards. Say that for y'all young lions. Well, Earl Spence was doing that to him too. Floyd threw Earl Spence in Keith Thurman's pathway to get Keith off his back. It won't that Floyd was scared of Keith, and Floyd could have probably beat Keith, but he tired of his yapping at his mouth. See, to me, Keith was the most legitimate of the bunch. I'll say it again, he was the most legitimate of the bunch. He made smart moves, and he was the man at one time. So much so that he put PBC on the map. And that's why PBC owes him for putting him on the map, putting them on the map. It was fighters like him, Leo Santa Cruz, Deontay Wilder, that made PBC what it is today in the beginning. It was them. And PBC didn't forget that. That's why they cuff Keith Thurman. Sometimes they cuff him. They baby him. He their little baby. You know, they ain't gonna throw him out with the bathwater. They not really. They know Keith can generate casual fans. Another one. It's not his fault. Complexion for the protection. Keith is a handsome guy. He's gonna get fans to coming in there. But you can only double talk. In the man's world, I feel like, and I ain't a man, so I'm on the outside looking in. I feel like with y'all men, you can only yap at the mouth for so much before you have to show and prove. See, women, we yap. But men, you can't yap but so long. You have to show something. Show them the money. You know, like Missouri, the show me state. You gotta show them. Excuse me. Al Money said, Big Fish, you right about that. I've been saying that for a minute now. These fighters won't even come show love to the channels that put them on. A lot of people think they ready for celebrityism, but they not. And I often think, like I'm sure everybody think, if you was a celebrity, would you be giving your time all the time? I would be very cordial to my fans or the people who got me there. But sometimes, you know, just in regular life, I don't want to talk to nobody. I'm like, get the fuck around me. Family or not, like you just be in your mode. And fans come at you at those times and you just be like a person like Steve Harvey, he don't never got time. Because especially unsincere people, they will always be moody. So if you want to get in the entertainment business, that comes with it. And you got to know that it comes with it and accept it and be able to function in it, in the midst of it. If that's not your forte, then boxing or football or whatever the hell is not your thing. You never know what small detail keep you out of the whole picture, you know. Now, it took me a minute, but over time, I could see why fighters, especially Earl Spence, got a problem with Keith Thurman. And I quickly moved over time to, man, this dude talking out the side of his neck. I used to defend Keith Thurman because I understood what he was talking about with the Earl Spence thing. The only reason why I was big and pressure on Keith is because Floyd Mayweather sanctioned Earl Spence. Floyd let the narrative get out there, and with Floyd never hardly does, because Floyd is all about his ego, and he conceded too. I always said to myself, why would Floyd let the narrative get out there that somebody pieced him up? Let Floyd tell him he better than everybody. He TBE. So why would he let that shit get out there with Earl Spence if it won't for an actual agenda or specific reason? And the reason was to give Keith Thurman something to worry about than to be worried about Floyd. But at the time, Keith Thurman, it's quite natural that all these fighters fighting since they 5 and 8 years old will have injuries. At one point, they do need to take time off and so-called pseudo-retire, and then come back after they had a year or two off to heal properly. That's what I thought happened to Keith. I thought he had real injuries. I thought that Earl was beneath him. He was behind him. There was no reason when Earl first started calling out Keith to even think he deserved or was supposed to be having the opportunity to fight Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman was the man. He was the top of the division. How you put Earl in that shit back then? But over time, he just never got out his double talk. And then, what he said? It was injuries after injuries. He hurt himself. Then he got healed. Then there was another injury behind that. Then, injury after injury. Then he stiffed arm Earl way too long to the point that Earl can't stand him. And then he need 8 months to fight Bud, but he hollering they not treating him fair. What you need 8 months for? You're a boxer. You're supposed to be ready. A lot of these fighters would rather fight Earl because they could see after you looked at him fight and fight and fight, and he was never really in a fight except with Porter, and maybe Kell Brook, and of course Bud. He was never in a fight that he wasn't going to win. They spoon-fed him too from the jump. I ain't saying that fighters don't get a spoonful of some goodies every now and then, but I'm talking about if you follow Earl Spence's career all the way up to those 3 fighters that I mentioned, the rest was spoon-fed. Everybody knew he was going to win. That's why I say it like that. So once you got to see him in action, you saw some successes that Porter might have had with him, that Kell Brook had with him. You knew your hunch was right. He's not a pure boxer. You can outbox this man if you can withstand his punches. And then definitely after the display that Terrence put on him, now you know if you didn't know before. I suspect a lot of people just want to fight Earl Spence. All they got to do is outlast or outwithstand his punches. That's it. And catch him slipping, because he will always slip. He does things that I don't think at this late in the game he can correct. Bruce Gass is in the building. What's poppin'? King said, salute Miss T. And General Big Fish said Keith Thurman did not duck Earl Spence. I don't really call it a duck neither, General. But at this point in the game, he comes off like that. What I said is I can see why people come to that conclusion. Of course, it's easy for them to come to that conclusion when they love Earl but hate Keith. Or they fans of other fighters but don't like Keith. It's easy to come to that. I can see why people can make that case. But I was defending Keith. I was one of the people that defended him. And I still stand by what I said in the past. But I'm saying at this juncture in the game, it's a lot of double talk. And now they blockading his ass. Earl don't like him. Bud don't like him. A lot of people ain't gonna take him serious that don't like him. I'm sure that Bruce Ennis ain't pressed to fight him. And just think about this, y'all. He only lost one time, and that was to Pacquiao. Of all the people to lose to the great Pacquiao, that's saying something. That's great. And that was a close fight. It won't no one-sided or easy or beat down from Pacquiao. Take away that flash knockdown in the beginning of the rounds, we could be looking at a draw. Well, Keith would have turned the gas up just a little bit. It could have went his way. Won't no shutout. But if you're gonna lose to somebody, I'm sure as a boxer he'll say I'd rather lose to Pacquiao or Floyd than somebody we are not familiar with or who was never pound for pound or a B-level fighter. And you never know when Father Time decides to check on you and click that light on. It's different for everybody. General Big Fish said, at our money 231, what you think about Keith getting this fight with Zoo? I like how you spell Zoo. It makes sense. That's a good one. That's a good part right there, you know. I'm going to let you come on and explain it. I definitely got thoughts because I'm about to finish up my little monologue. Haney, you know, talk about him is obvious. They put the cart before the horse. There was a lot of double talk from Bill. He was an email/paper champion, and he was the silver spooner. This is why people are going to hate on Haney. He going to get the same treatment that Bud got. Rolly was supposed to be a rugged fighter. Definitely got power. He fights in MMA too. A lot of people don't know that. He's not a good boxer though. He's not. And ain't nothing nobody can do to make him be one. He can be counted on to make a mistake. Let me say that again. He can be counted on to make a mistake. And that's how you beat Rolly. But he was shown they will lie and cheat for him because that's 2 fights now that he was in that a lot of people feel like he really lost. And he got belts out of both of them, I think. He got good traits. He ain't scared. He can hurt you. And he can sell a fight. Now, those are good things about Rolly, and you can't dismiss those things because all of those things are relevant. Tank, he all about the money. He don't care about being a champion. He's not really sincere, and that is seen by boxing fans and everybody alike. You can see that. I ain't said Tank is a bad person. Realize what I'm saying. He's not sincere. He boxed probably because that's what he was good at. It's like me getting a history degree. Why do you think I picked it? I'm good at that shit. So that's why he picked boxing. He can make a whole lot of money, and he hoped he did. I've been telling y'all, once him and Brian make that much money, be prepared for them to be themselves. Tank has reverted back to itself. Ryan, in a sense, has reverted back to himself. Why anybody should be shocked, I don't know. I could see Tank not fighting for a minute. Because the reports and the thumbnails that I seen was saying that Tank was coming back March 30. But we know now that's Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu. But why are we shocked? It's always been about the money for Tank. And as we say, yeah, you can make the money, but we know you. We know your kind. Meaning we know people who grew up disadvantaged and poor, that kind, not your race or anything, but your kind like that. Y'all tend to fumble the ball, especially when it comes to money. What financial class did you take? I think all boxers, especially when they start to make money or before they make money, should take some kind of financial something before their career blow up. Because if not, to me, it seemed easy to handle millions of dollars, but I don't know. People lose money to accountants, tax people, all kinds of shit. The rate he going, he could get sued. Then what you gonna do? I ain't saying he did nothing lately, but the jury is still out on that lady who wanted to sue him. What if she take half of that? You're gonna be back trying to make a fight. But if you're not trying to go for champions, what is it about Tank? And I'm saying this with all due respect, because I said this about any fighter. What is it about Tank that I feel it necessary to make him rich? I mean, for all I know, I should make my brother rich, my daddy rich, the man on the moon rich. I should make anybody rich. Why not make General Big Fish rich, or Bruce Gas, or Al Money, or Jason Wim? Why not make all of y'all, Dan Tan, ATL? Why not make, and anybody I left out? Why not make all of y'all rich? If I don't know you, why am I giving you my money? What have you done for me lately? If you say, well, you give your money to other stuff, I always get something in return. If I pay for a movie, I saw a good movie. If I buy somebody's album, like, let me tell you, it ain't too many people out there. Everybody got this in their repertoire. They got an artist, whether it's acting, singing, or whatever, or a group or whatever they do, that you're going to pay for regardless whether you even know what the program is. I feel that way about SWV. I don't give a fuck what they put out on wax. Just to know that they put it out, I'm already pre-ordering. Because I know it's going to be good. Because history has shown me it's going to be good. But I get some out the deal. If I go to their concert, I get some out the deal. Those are phenomenal artists. They strive to be phenomenal. Tank is striving to be rich, so he can be that dude. So he can clown who he want to clown, and have all the ladies, and have all the money, and the diamonds, and the drip, and all that stuff, and feel like he's holier than thou. A lot of boxers these days get caught up in it, and it's a hangover from the Floyd Mayweather era. Floyd did it in a way that made sense. Y'all copying only a part of his legacy. Floyd was in it for the belts for a long time. He was in it to be TBE numero uno. And then, because of what he kept running up against time after time, he became disillusioned with these sanctioning bodies and then was anti-belts, all about the money. But everybody who looked to him as a mentor, they just want that last part, all about the money. Fuck the belts. Tank, in 50 years, nobody will know you even existed if you don't change your trajectory. And that's facts. People, somebody, a boxing historian, but a casual fan. Dude, you got casual boxing fans who know who Joe Louis is, Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield. You got casuals who don't even look at boxers on the regular and know who those guys are. Tank, you will not be the recipient of such standards, or people won't do that with you because all you care about the money. Who cares if you're rich? Jason Williams said Abdul Wahid is all about money and collected cereal box belts. Indeed. And I didn't want to say his name, Abdul Wahid, because I didn't know it really. I knew it was Abdul. I didn't know if it was Abdullah. With all due respect, he changed his name and he did a solid for himself. So respecting him and his new name, I will try to keep saying that. It will take time, but definitely when I say Tank, it's because either I forgot or I just can't, quite get Abdul Wahid. That's Tank Davis' new name. Al Money said, I think of the layoff for Thurman might be dangerous because Tim has been active. Yep, that too. But a lot of people say that Thurman is stomachy, and it could be because he really outgrew the weight class, and he was one of those. He don't never want to fight in nothing else but the 147 weight division. So maybe just adding these pounds might help. We'll see. But I thought about what's the outcome of this fight. And I can only tell you from my point of view. I dropped the link if y'all want to get in and say it from y'all point of view. Al Bunny said, Jason Williams, you probably right. I was still tuned in. This is what I think, y'all. I think if Thurman lose the fight, he can't spiral down no more than what he is. He ain't going to spiral out of control no worse than where he is right now. Because I'm going to show y'all why. I don't know if y'all can see this, but I'm going to read it to you. ESPN reports that the World Boxing Organization has declined to sanction the Tim Tszyu versus Thurman fight for their WBO junior middleweight title, which makes a lot of sense. The Tszyu Thurman oddity will still happen, but it won't be for a WBO 154 title. Why the change? The 35-year-old former WBC and WBA welterweight champion in Thurman, 30 wins, 1 loss, 22 KOs, has these things that prevent him from fighting for Tszyu's WBO 154 title. Thurman was unranked in the WBO's top 15 at 154. That's a fact. He hasn't fought in 29 months. That's a fact. He never competed at 154. So what about the people that's waiting in line? Can't be unfair. That's what aid to the decline in boxing. And unranked in the WBO's top 15 at 147. So why would you give him a title shot over all them other people who've been waiting patiently in line? If the WBO had agreed to sanctioning the Tim Tszyu and Thurman fight for their 154-pound title, they would have received massive heat from fans, fighters ranked in their top 15, and the promoters. But here's what it does do. Thurman is one of the reasons, like I said, why PBC is where they are today. Point blank period. Y'all hit that like button, please. Hit the like button. If you never subscribe. Like in my blue blood voice, hit the motherfucking like button. Shout out Blue Blood. I'm just picking. Thurman, people had a hard time with him being ranked number 1 to get in line to fight Errol Spence, when technically, if we were paying attention, you would have known why that happened. It was all legit. Just didn't look legit. When Thurman decided to get out the way and let them other guys have it, not to be the holdup in the 147, he took the opportunity to get that emeritus belt. And that emeritus belt puts him at number 1 whenever he's ready. He ain't on no set time, so you can't say he's holding up the division, he holding the belt, he won't fight this person. You can't go through all that with him. He done gave it up. He dropped the belt himself. But he still put himself in position whenever he was ready to come back. And that's why he was a number 1 contender for the WBC with Errol Spence. Even Earl and his team didn't understand. But if you understand the rules and the stuff that they put out, then you'll get it. So that's why I say Thurman, for the most part, was the legit out the bunch. But with this 154, PBC is not going to deviate from what they know or feel that works. If Thurman is one of the main reasons why they blew up in the first place, they are embarking on a new relaunch. This is a relaunch of their career as boxing promoters with a new network. So if they blew up with Thurman before, why not, or maybe they feel they owe him a solid. Because Thurman really been looking for them $10 million pay periods. Or something close to it. And that's because I believe that PBC owed him. Now, what about all them people that PBC owed? When even Deontay Wilder, Broner, and all of them was talking about they was pay you later. I'll gladly pay you next week for a hamburger today. Or what did Wimpy say? I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. PBC was on that shit. I'll pay you later. You're going to reinvest into the company and you're going to get even more. Thurman bought that shit. Deontay bought into that shit. Broner bought into that shit. Mickey Bay bought into that shit. Did they ever get their money? That's the question. Why everybody was around here for years repping PBC and getting butthurt because we was talking about factual things. It's just like I said when Blue Blood said, no offense to Blue Blood, I like him. When he said, out of nowhere, Showtime just got out the sport of boxing. It wasn't out of nowhere. Who was surprised by Showtime getting out of boxing? People who were in denial and didn't want that to be true. Because to say Showtime failed, that means PBC failed. PBC lost 2 networks. They was riding high off the hog over everybody. Everybody else had 1 network. PBC had 2. Fox got rid of them. And then they did so poorly that Showtime got canked. So they putting Keith Thurman because they know he can bring them casuals. He still can do that. Tszyu is he's hot right now. So they figure they put them 2 together. Now, I said, if Thurman lose, his reputation or status does not spiral out of control. This is a fight. What he can say. It's my first time at 154. I've been out the ring for 29 months. It's to be expected. He got built-in excuses. Whether he say it out his mouth or not, it's already there before the fight even happened. Tszyu could be like, yo, I wasn't at my best. I wasn't feeling that great this night. He was a better man tonight, but I promise you I'm going to get back in the gym and rethink our program where we went wrong and we come back stronger and dominate like we know we can. That's how he got to say some shit like that. And he will if Tszyu lost. The point of the matter is he don't lose his belt. So all the people hungry for that belt. Maybe we'll finally get the Jamel and Tszyu fight. Or any other 154 pounders that want that belt. They still got a chance. Even Terrence Crawford. The only person that's going to have downfall is because just like the excuses are already built in for both of them, that would be the excuse people use if Terrence Crawford fought him. Man, you gonna fight him after Keith Thurman and dealt him up? He won't shit after that loss. Keith Thurman knocked him out one time. Of course you can beat him. You want to impress me, Bud? Fight Keith Thurman. It might make a fight with Tszyu between Bud and him less valuable. Because at least now, if them 2 get in the ring, people can make the argument. I won't certainly make this argument, but people can make the argument. Hey, I don't know who gonna win. Both of them rugged and tough. I already know Bud will win that. And he will beat Jamel. And if Bud believes he can beat Canelo, I believe in him. But Bud has told y'all the marching orders he's under. Big name, big fights, belts, undisputed, big money. Find an opponent that got all of those things rolled up in one. Sound like Canelo to me. Bud is not interested in fighting people that's going to have excuses. And yes, Earl Spence made an excuse. When he, where was it? Let me show you where he did it. Let me see if I can pull this up. Just so I can show y'all what I'm talking about. I dropped the link, by the way, y'all. So, look. Damn. So look, former unified welterweight champion Earl Spence Jr. is recovering from surgery to his right eye to remove a cataract. Spence stated on Instagram he had to get cataract surgery. It's been past due. Shit was covering my eye. Why y'all think I got hit with so many jabs and hooks? That was the excuse right there, heard around the world. Still a great performance, bro. Backhanded compliment. The surgery obviously throws a wrench into Spence's contractually mandated rematch with Crawford. And that's why Crawford was pissed. That's why he was pissed. Because you made an excuse and you did a backhanded compliment. But anyway, like I said, that Keith Thurman, they just looking out for their boy, their golden goose. He did a lot for them. This is where the fans come into play. We're not or didn't show outrage when the empty suits made their moves, like putting fights on that we didn't like, making us pay for pay-per-views that wasn't worth it, marinating too long. We didn't have enough outrage for that and put the pressure on. Only when it happens to their favorite fighter. Whether, Terrence is my favorite fighter, true enough. But I would have had outrage whether it was his or not. And I've shown y'all that I've had outrage with basically no-name fighters. When Mikhail Fox, he wasn't a big name, but I showed outrage and speaking on the predicament he found himself in. So it didn't matter to me whether he was B, D, B, C, D, or elite fighter, A fighter. Didn't matter. Also, empty suits. This is where they come in. Empty suits, sanctioning bodies, and commentators like myself, and commentators who work for actual networks or whoever. They all about the money. Commentators like myself too. I'm not about the money. I'm not getting paid. So I can, with a straight face, say that. But they all about the money. They don't care about the fans or the fighters. They not consistent with the rules. Any other time when somebody get knocked the fuck out and they unconscious, fight over. But not when Jack Reese was reffing that Tyson Fury fight with Deontay. Oh, no, we're going to throw them rules away. They show favoritism and somehow think we there to see them. Like, I don't give a fuck about Al Heyman, Bob Arum, and Oscar De La Hoya or Eddie Hearn. I don't hate them neither, but I ain't coming to... I'm not digging in my pockets for nothing with them. They don't interest me at all. It's the fighter. So why put your self-importance above the fighter? And fighters, why did you let them? And fans, why don't we put the pressure for them to stop this bullshit? So the conclusion is, people rather at this stage in the game, they rather steal the fight. Fans are moving on to other sports. The lies are not checked. And the cheating goes unchecked unless you are an unbankable fighter. Prime example, Big Baby Miller. He's unbankable. That's why they stuck it to his ass when they caught him cheating. But Canelo is bankable. That's why they passed and swept it under the rug when they caught him cheating. You see the difference? But that's all I have for y'all. But now I'm going to give y'all the tip that y'all was waiting for. Some of y'all stuck around. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Let me tell y'all. When I learn stuff, I share it with y'all. Y'all know that. So, people out there want to buy things, get line of credit, mostly cars, right? I told y'all how to change your credit report, if only for 30 days or 3 weeks, just so you can go buy the car you want and not get got on your deal. I told y'all how car dealers do. I'm talking to somebody. Somebody need to hear this. I told y'all how car dealers do. They have all these different banks that they get with, and they will ask these banks. And you know what? 9 times out of 10, if one say yes, they all say yes. But they'll come back and have you believe that only a few said yes. And it's more money in their pocket if they pick the bank that gave you the highest APR. So 3 of the banks could have gave you 2% APR, and the other 4 could have gave you somewhere between 5 and 6, and one could have gave you 8. The car dealer gonna pick the 8 and be like, I tried to fight for you. I tried, but it's 8 because their commission gonna be that much more. Even though there was a bank out there that was willing to give it to you for 2. So you can't always let them get you. You got to get them. But the tip is more different. I was just recapping right there. But here's how you can get shit off your credit report. So first off, every collection debt that you have or credit that you have in the good is attached to an address, right? So in your credit report, they keep track of all the known addresses that you have. Okay? When you write to, and I suggest you write it, not call it in, but when you write to the credit bureau, first and foremost, send all 3 letters at the same time. That's Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Send them all the same day. Put them in the mailbox at the same time. Same time. You know, my Chris Tucker voice. Put them in the mailbox at the same time, hoping that they get to their respective place at the same time. So what you want to do is write a simple letter. You got to put your name in the letter and your social security. So I would say, I, blah, 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 name, in parentheses, social security. Because they identify you by your name and social security number. I, blah, 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 want to refer to this alleged, everything is alleged. Everything is alleged. This alleged address of, and then write that address down. And you'll write up, this is not a place where I live. A direct statement. I do not live here. When you don't want to say I used to live here, or back in the day I lived here, or a long time ago I lived here, because they don't have no reason to not take it down. You know what I'm saying? They'll do what you ask. You just have to ask nicely, for real. For real, they do not put up a fuss, because credit bureaus, one thing they don't never want to do is be trapped up in court with a bunch of people. And you know them credit bureaus have done a number on a lot of people in these states, enough to make us take their ass to court. If you notice, you don't know nobody has gone to court for the credit bureau. Only time they get checked is through the government. They don't ever get checked in court by people, because they move heaven and earth never to go to court. And that is your advantage. So again, I say your name, social security number in parentheses, want to talk about alleged address, because alleged is like saying, it's saying the word alleged simply is saying, I used to live there, or I could have lived there. You always want to have plausible deniability, because you're talking to them like, I don't live there, I ain't never lived there. But you can't say it like that. You want to say it like that, but not say it like that. So you just say, I want to talk about this alleged address of 2910. You know what I'm saying? Blah, blah, blah Avenue. This is not my address. I do not live here. I'm asking Equifax or TransUnion or Experian to please remove this address from my credit report. And the department that handles that only handles that. And they're going to say, okay. And it ain't a debt collector out there or a creditor out there that can send them, that they can ask, you know, because when you remove stuff, they send a paperwork to those collectors, those creditors, and all them say, hey, can you prove that this is a real debt? Because they said it's alleged debt. But they can't even do that with a creditor or a debt collector, because they don't have that kind of information. In order for them to have that information, they got to have your lease. That's the Privacy Act. They don't have authority to have that. So they can't never come back and say, no, she did live there. An apartment complex, once you move, They ain't gonna do that shit. They not reporting on you. So you just say, I say your name, Social Security, want to talk about this alleged address on my credit report. I do not live here. I'm not living here. This address does not belong to me. I'm asking Equifax to please remove said address from, and you write it out. Always write it out, the address. Please remove said address from my credit report. And Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian go say, okay. And give it, I always say give it 30 days, but always check in a week. They should be able to do something in a week. They ain't gonna do nothing in an hour, but they'll do something in a week. And just keep checking. Now, once they've removed this address, here's where the magic happens. All the debt that you accrued at that address gotta be removed too. How you gonna have a debt or collection on something with no address attached? How they know to put it on your account? They gotta identify you some kind by your name, your social, but by an address too. If what credit can you get without giving your address? So when they remove the address from your credit report, and they will gladly do it, they got to remove all that debt that you accrue with that address. That's another way to get rid of debt. And even if they do it for just 30 days, hey, like I said before, when you ask the credit report to remove shit, they do. They got 30 days to find out if that was something legit or not. And that shit take time. They got to reach out to the creditors. They got to reach out to the debt collectors. And the debt collectors got to reach back to them. And that takes time. And in the meantime, in between time, go get your car. Because your credit score is going to change the minute they hit that button. Boom. And that's how you get around credit. Jason Williams said, how does that work? I think I just explained it, Jason. If you get rid of your address, because your credit bureaus track all the addresses you've ever lived at. Every address I've ever lived at is on my credit report. If I want to remove any address, all the debt that came with that address is gone too. That's how you get over. They getting over on you. Credit collectors and debt collectors and creditors get over on you. They don't ever want to go to court, and that's your leverage. You never ever heard of anybody taking Equifax to court. You never heard of them, and they fuck a lot of people over. They don't ever, and I mean ever, want to go to court, and they will move heaven on earth to never go to court, and they win that battle all the time. So they have to give the public leverage in some things, and you just got to know where your leverage is. And that's my tip for the day. I could talk on and on about credit, but I'm gonna just give it in small dosage. He said, okay, I see now. You said good game. Now, if y'all don't take that shit and connect some dots and go handle your business, I don't know what to tell you. Because I've used all of them things, except I've never taken my address off. But I never had real reason to. But you best believe let somebody pop up on my shit. And I'm about to sell this house. And I'm about to buy another house. Can you move that address off my credit report, please? I don't live there. Okie dokie. And take that debt while you with them. Take the debt with you while you at it. Take it on with you. Thank you. But anyway, that's all I have to say. And my Pamela James voice. Let me get to that page. I'm gonna say peace. Oh, y'all go watch my diabetes conversation. Big Fish, all of y'all go watch my diabetes conversation. It's a good conversation. You're gonna learn some things. It's debatable stuff on there, but we don't debate. Me and ATL did a good show on that one, and you're gonna learn some things. If y'all approaching, I'm gonna say this till the cows come home. If y'all approaching diabetes, because it's becoming so bad now, little kids are getting it, adolescent kids are getting it. But if y'all know somebody with diabetes, and or you yourself have it, if you approach it by counting calories and avoiding cakes and pies and sugars and all this sugar, if that's the way you want to go at it, you're going to have diabetes forever. It's not the sugar disease that you think it is. Now, technically, yeah, you can say it's sugar because everything you eat turns to sugar. And I mean everything. You eat meat, bread. There's nothing you can eat that don't turn into sugar. So yeah, that's why they say it's sugar. But what make people have diabetes is meat and dairy. And some people know that shit, but a lot of people don't. Cut those two things out and you will reverse type 2 diabetes in 3 months. Your girl right here just did it. Don't know why I got it, but I just did it. So anyway, in my Pamela James voice, peace.